The Miami Dolphins have recently hired Mike McDaniel, the San Francisco 49ers offensive coordinator, as their head coach, and I'm here to tell you why that is one of the greatest moves that have been made this offseason. It is the best choice the Dolphins could have made. It is a huge upgrade from Brian Flores, and it's going to work really well for both Mike McDaniel and for the Dolphins. And the reason is because of Deebo Samuel, because of Jaylen Waddle. Deebo Samuel was turned into an offensive juggernaut by Mike McDaniel and the 49ers. I'm not going to not give Kyle Shanahan credit, but Mike McDaniel is going to take that and he's going to turn Jaylen Waddle into what Deebo Samuel was. Deebo Samuel was amazing this year, considering himself a wide back, a new position, and this really didn't happen to be in the season. They kind of turned on towards the end of the year, and it worked great. It's going to fit well with the Dolphins' offense. Mike McDaniel said he wants to use Tua the way is towards the things he does best, and that's this short passing that we saw a lot with Jimmy Garoppolo and Deebo Samuel. It's what the Dolphins did a lot with Jaylen Waddle, and it's what they're going to continue to do because that's their strengths. And any good football team is going to play to their strengths, and it just works out so well in so many levels. You have Jaylen Waddle who can take on this wide back, this role where he's going to get a little bit more carries a game, some end arounds, a lot of motions, a lot of just not trick plays, but plays where you're trying to confuse the defense to get your playmaker into space when he has a chance to get in one-on-one situations where you know he's going to make a guy miss and he's going to get you extra yards. You get him in situations where he gets a 5-yard catch downfield and he turns a 5-yard catch into a 20-yard gain, or he takes a screen pass where he catches the ball 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and it ends up being a moves the chains, gets 15 yards, something like that. Those types of situations. And for a team like the Dolphins who struggles on offense, that's definitely their weak point. They had a great defense this year, and they're definitely lacking on offense. This is a great move. You bring in a guy who knows how to turn a run game into something, and that's something the Dolphins haven't really had since Jay. They have a decent amount of talent. They struggle with the offensive line and blocking schemes, and we've seen the 49ers do some great things. We saw that Trent Williams play where he's pulling and makes a great block. We saw what they did with George Kittle and how he's been a great blocker at the tight end position. Like, the Miami Dolphins have weapons to make things happen. They've got receivers. They've got decent running backs, I'd say. Myles Gaskin and Duke Johnson played well towards the end of the season. Their struggle has always been the offensive line recent years. You see the stats on how Tua gets pressured so much and how people defend him saying he has to throw the ball so quick, and that he does. But you bring in a guy that knows how to get a run game, and you truly get to see what these guys are. Because imagine how, like, you took Jimmy Garoppolo to an NFC Championship game, you take Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl. Like, if you think Tua is your guy, let's see what you can bring in this guy, see what he can do with Tua. And I think it's gonna work out great for the Dolphins, and it's gonna work out great for Mike McDaniel because he comes in and he's just got to run the offense. Josh Boyer, the Dolphins defensive coordinator, a little bit of talk said he could maybe come in inside as head coach, but the Dolphins did the right thing. They got the offensive guy. They needed help on offense. This is the guy they needed. They needed an offensive guy. Mike McDaniel's the best offensive guy available. He fits the Dolphins in what they can do and what their roster is so well. And then from the defensive standpoint and why it works for Mike McDaniel is he doesn't have to do this so much. He's never been a defensive guy. He obviously knows it a little bit just knowing football and being able to break down a defense with his offense, but he doesn't have to run the defense at all. This is still going to be Josh Boyer's thing. It's still going to be the Flores type of scheme. A lot of blitzes, still similar players, a lot of guys still under contract, and they're going to continue to be a dominant defense. And Mike McDaniel's going to work on this offense, and that's going to be the project. The Dolphins got a late first round pick this year from San Francisco, and they have several other picks in the draft, and they have money in free agency. We'll see what they go out. I expect him to bring in some linemen to make the offensive line a little bit better. Expect them to add some pieces to the defense. Just best players available, best players you can find in free agency. But plays like this, where you have Jaylen Waddle moving in motion, catching this little passing at the Saints, that is something you'll expect to see a lot from. If that's considered a pass, but that's pretty much a handoff, and you're just going to give Jaylen Waddle in situations to make plays. And then when the defense trying to stop that, you have your physical threat in Devontae Parker on the other side, and you have an elite receiving tight end in Mike Gesicki there. And the Dolphins will be able to figure out a little bit of the actual run game, like a traditional run game with Myles Gaskin and whoever else you put in the backfield. And I think this Mike McDaniel Miami Dolphins offense and football team is going to turn out really well. And I just think it's a very, very good hire.